Talk to me about Envision. What kind of a vision do you have for the creative industry, and when do you see a turnaround on the same?
Well, I think generally in Kigali, the art scene is developing. And it's a very exciting time to be here because there's so much talent and potential in the artists here. So basically, we came up with the concept of Envision because we wanted to basically inspire artists that they can really imagine themselves being creative and also developing their skills and also just really expressing themselves in a way that places outside of Rwanda are doing. So we just really wanted to inspire them by creating this space, providing opportunities, providing equipment, and basically just fostering creative thinking and giving them a space also where they can show their skills. So we created an art gallery and just the opportunities that they would need to succeed, basically.
Talk to me about the interest. Of course, we've been used to a lot of young people, of course, moving far from what you would say is natural or talented or what, to see, to seek to do what people deem the right things to do, not necessarily following what you feel like, hey, I want to do this. So do you see interest coming towards this creative industry? Do you actually see people trying to get engaged?
Absolutely. I think generally people are naturally creative. And so especially with arts and the way we view entertainment and culture, I think everyone has a natural creative ability, but there's just different barriers to be able to express it. A lot of people don't think that it's possible to have a career in the arts or to have a profession that allows you to be creative but also support yourself. So that's an emerging thing here in Rwanda especially, but we want to basically encourage people in many different fields, whether it's filmmaking or photography or fine arts or painting or even fashion design. But we want to encourage them to show that it is possible to make this a career, and together as a group, as Envision, we can kind of develop this scene and really show Rwanda and Africa that there is value in the arts here.
Talk to me about Envision. Where did the journey start?
Okay, well, I've been living and working in Rwanda for the past 2.5 years. I was a teacher at the Agoza Shalom Youth Village, and that's where I started teaching photography, and I basically created a media program and media center in the village. And so this is a high school, but they also are living, it's kind of like a boarding school, but they have access to many different programs. And so for me, I was able to bring equipment, and I have experience doing video production and photography. And so I was able to share this skill and really create something that was really, at the time, a little bit unique and special. And I was able to see the effects that it really had on these kids that were able to express themselves and really create just a really amazing work from just given the opportunity with using the equipment. And so basically I felt that I wanted to expand basically the things that were happening there outside into Kigali. And I thought, well, the best way I can do that is to basically create kind of this multimedia studio space in Kigali, where basically some of our graduates and other up-and-coming artists would be able to access the same opportunities that some of the students in the village had.
You're talking about opportunities, and of course, looking at Agahozo Sharom, just like you just mentioned, it's a couple kilometers, maybe 30, 40, 50 kilometers away from Kigali. Not very much of a rural area, but if we're talking about tech uptake, it's not even that high in Kigali. So talk to me about how technology is actually having much of an impact in this particular industry where you're looking at very meager numbers.
Well, technology is always a big thing, especially with digital arts and with multimedia. And so we can see that Rwanda has been progressing so much and investing a lot into technology and the development of the creative sector. And so, what I specifically tried to do is I brought a lot of, the latest equipment from the United States, investing in just the highest quality stuff. So basically, Rwanda is going to be able to compete with everyone else in the world. And I think sometimes there's always that barrier to entry, which is equipment and access to resources. But basically, given the opportunities and the equipment and the time to basically develop your skills, I think any person anywhere could really be successful.
Are you investing all by yourself?
Mostly. It was mostly fundraising by myself. I got a lot of help from my family. I sold my car before I came back here. But, it was quite a big endeavor, but luckily I've been able to so far fund it mostly by myself.
All right. Now, talk to me about, of course, as CNBC, one thing that we're pretty much interested in is the money. How lucrative is this industry? Do you see money coming in? I
think so, and there's a lot of different opportunities that have yet to be, I think, tapped into, especially in Rwanda and Kigali especially. There's the tourism industry, which is obviously booming. And with tourism, they obviously need ways to communicate and market themselves, and also with just the developing economy, all these bigger companies need just effective ways that they can brand themselves, that they can communicate, and the creative arts can help a lot in those fields. Whether it's even designing spaces or obviously producing, videos that show off the space, or just different communication methods. I think these sectors really need to value the importance of arts and creativity in developing.
Where do you see this particular industry in at least the next few years? Do you see growth on the same, and could we quantify it?
I mean, I definitely think it's going to expand. It's still kind of an emerging thing here, but I think my main purpose here was to basically have the community value the arts, value creativity, and value just the impact and the work that goes into creating something. So to quantify them into monetary things, there's different ways you can do that, but I think finding ways to partner with businesses, finding ways to market yourself as an artist where people value your work and will really invest in it.
Okay. And you have seen that impact actually happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it because some of the people I've worked with in the village and I've started to train, and it's been maybe 1 year removed, but these guys are already getting big jobs with big companies here in Rwanda, and so you can see their careers just really start to launch in a short amount of time, just given the opportunities to basically develop their skills and really promote themselves. So even in a short amount of time, with the right skills, the right quality of work, you can really develop and really become successful.
Pero